What's up, gang? I had to jump right back here in studio. We couldn't wait till Monday on the Schaub show to break down all this Real Housewives of the UFC drama going down. If you haven't heard, and it's all over, Jon Jones is out of his title fight at Madison Square Garden with Stipe. It is out. It's not happening. Jon Jones tore his pec. And I don't mean like a slight tear. They're saying he tore his pec off the bone. If you know anything about these injuries, which I do, I've had pec issues. I've had many of friends who were professional athletes who have torn their pec. And when it's completely torn off the bone, this is not a fast turnaround time. The UFC said minimum 8 months. Minimum. That's assuming he has surgery. They got to open up. They got to reattach that muscle to the bone. There's a lot that goes into a torn pec. So I assume he's out probably a year. Jon Jones probably isn't fighting for a year. He's not getting any younger. And also, UFC missed the boat on this a little bit. Not stripping. I guess he stripped him of the belt. When he beat Cyril Gane, he's the heavyweight champ. When your champ's out at least a year with this injury, there should not be an interim title fight. That it should just be the vacant belt. When you think about Jon Jones and Stipe, I guess the rumor, anybody who's close to the game knows that the plan was for both these guys to retire. So whether it was win or loss on either end, Stipe, I think, was planning on retiring. Jon Jones was going to do the same thing. So either way, even if their fight were to go down like it was supposed to in 2 weeks, you still don't really have a heavyweight champion. The UFC knows this. We all know this. So they announced Tom Aspinall versus Sergei Pavlovich, and it's for an interim heavyweight title. That doesn't make any sense in any facet, because even if Jon wasn't going to retire, or even if the fight went on, you weren't going to have a true heavyweight champ. So you get Sergey and Tom Aspinall fighting for an interim belt. That makes no freaking sense. That should be just for the straight up vacant world title fight. So we know it's going to go down like that, and it definitely should. So let's talk about Aspinall versus Sergei Pavlovich. There's a thing going on right now, especially lately, and it's a blessing and a curse. The blessing is, as a fight fan, which we are if you're watching this, and if you're in the game, you like the game, these big fights fall out. The UFC, this is the reason the biggest, boxing would never do this, where a main event pulls out, a championship fight pulls out, and they replace that fighter with even bigger name or a bigger fight, or at least complementary to it. It's a massive fight either way, because Madison Square Garden's a big card. They're not just going to put in two schmucks in there. You're getting big names like Sergey and Tom Aspinall. So it's all good on the fight side. We love this. As a fighter, though, it kind of sucks because you're getting the biggest opportunity of your life and you're on a 2-week notice. For Alex Volkanovski, it was a 10-day notice. It's not ideal for those guys. Also, as a consumer, you just see the names like, oh, this can be so dope. You're right, but the problem is you're getting a watered-down version. So you're not getting the elite of the elite at their complete 100% effort because they're only getting 2-week camps. So again, it's a blessing and a curse. The blessing is, heck yeah, UFC, do your thing. They're replacing it with these massive fights, and I'm all for it. The downside is you're not getting the best out of both fighters. That being said, Tom Aspinall, Sergei Pavlovich, 2 weeks, take my money. I'll watch them fight every Saturday if I could. I'm so high on Tom Aspinall, I think this fight's not even close if Tom has a 12-week camp. If his 12-week camp, Tom annihilates him. I think he should be a minus 350 favorite if he had a 12-week camp. On a 2-week camp, I think Tom still has the skill set and the fight IQ to dismantle Sergey. I think Sergey, he has obviously the knockout streak and he has all the power in the world. I don't think that's enough with just his skill set to get done against a guy like Tom Aspinall. I think Tom Aspinall is the best heavyweight the UFC has to offer. I think he proves that in Madison Square Garden, and I think he wins. I would take, if I'm using DraftKings, I'm taking Tom Aspinall under 5 rounds. He gets a finish with a TKO or a submission. I think he survives those early rounds. He's too quick. He's too witty. His fight IQ is too high to get caught in an exchange with Sergey. I think he finishes under 5. So either way, it's a good thing. It's a bad thing that the UFC has the resources and they're the only league that can fill in these huge super fights when one falls out. I love that. The downside is we're not getting the best of the best when you're doing these short notice fights. All good. We still got a card. The other thing is the Jon Jones tearing his pec and Stipe, they're going to retire anyway. Why isn't this a vacant belt? This makes no freaking sense. This should just be for the heavyweight title of the world. Enjoy the fights.